bringing to the stream. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Feast of Dice. We are back with our regular Monday stream Castle Run, and now officially in our third arc, which is very exciting for me, and I hope for all of you. We're just going to go around and do our introductions here on the stream before we start the session. And we will do it as we used to do it in alphabetical order. So, Sean, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Sean, and I play Atticus Brighthand, the artist formerly known as Atticus Phoenix. What can I say about Atticus? He has lived multiple lifetimes, was haunted by eldritch horror for most of his life, but now he's free of that, and he finally gets to live a life not bound to some things, and now he's with his friends, helping his friends with whatever may be needed to be done.
Yeah.
He's figuring himself out.
Lovely.
I'm really looking forward to the day when all his friends ask him to be beholden to a cosmic horror for the rest of his life. And he's like, wait, hold on.
Oh, time is a flat
This
circle.
feels
after
familiar.
all. Okay. Thank you, Atticus. And Aaliyah, that's going to be you.
Malia, and I play Fauna, and our pronouns are both she, her. Fauna is I thought she was a human, but I don't know at this point. There might be some face stuff going on in there. It's very complicated. But she has horns, and she has a cat familiar named the Cat that goes with her everywhere. And she's also kind of supporting her friends on this adventure. Her now friends, she met them randomly and then just inserted herself into their group. You're welcome. And so she wants to support all of the crew, and this is the next step for a lot of them, but she also has a lot of stuff going on that she isn't really sure what's going to happen with it. Mostly that she is getting a little more and more feral in terms of she has like wild magic, and it is causing her to become something else. And so she hopes to get back to the Feywild eventually to figure her shit out, but this needs to happen first. So
Yeah. There's a lot waiting for you in this arc. I'll say that. Okay.
Thanks.
That brings us to June.
That's me. I'm June. I play Nyx Loon, and they are a night elf, divine sorcerer, and rogue assassin. Both our pronouns are she, they, and they are the last remaining heir to the Guarding Knight, Court of Guarding Knight, and also prime to Oreth, or the Nightlands. But kind of lost to time and history and a whole lot of bad shit in between then, when they were put in a enchanted locket for like several centuries. But freed from that, and kind of been going on this journey of like discovering themselves and who they are as like an individual person outside of other people controlling them. And through that, I think are now kind of at a focal point of their life where they are they're still learning how to make choices for themselves, but I think they're finally leaning into the role that they were always raised for, kind of like stepping into the moonlight, as it were, as a bit of a linchpin to history, but also like a protector. And I the heir to the guarding knight and everything that holds as a guardian. So
A lot of the theme for Arc 3 is apparently everyone all growed up now.
yep.
So, thank you. That brings us to you, Tyler.
Hello, my name is Tyler. I play Perrin. We both use he, him pronouns. Perrin is a wood elf bard ranger. He has had a bit of a I'm sorry, he's also a sea elf. He's not a wood elf anymore. I forgot about that information when I pulled up my old biography here. Perrin has had a bit of a complicated history in terms of not being in control of his own fate. He was born and kind of raised and taught that he was gonna fulfill some kind of prophecy, and he has just been trying to deal with that and some mind control from Vox's uncle for a couple hundred years. And now he is mostly just trying to deal with the fact that he is in a found family, and recently, I will say carefully, recently has seen and experienced some things that made him realize, oh, fuck, I guess fate is kind of a thing, and maybe I actually do have to do things that I rejected for a long time. So he's now taking things. You guys, I think right now at the start of Act 3, you all need to realize that Perrin might actually be taking himself seriously.
Oh no.
He's still a fucking con man, but
So I'm hearing an echo somewhere. I think somebody has the stream on because it's like a couple seconds behind.
blame Elijah.
It can't possibly be me.
I think that go was coming from you, June.
It might have, honestly.
Yeah, I only
Wait,
heard
I'm
it
not
when
hearing
you
it
were
anymore.
talking.
I don't hear it anymore.
Jesus Christ, it absolutely was.
I only heard it that one little time.
I love it.
Come on,
Call is
guys.
coming from inside of my
Call
laptop.
is coming from
They're in the
inside
walls.
laptop.
Yeah, Perrin is being a little more serious about things because he thinks he actually literally has to, or everyone will die.
Yeah. And last in the alphabetical order, Q.
Hi, I'm Q. I play Vox. Both of our pronouns are she, her. Vox is a half elf, half rogue assassin, also half rune knight fighter. I have some new very cool runes that I'm excited to use. Vox is kind of growing and feels like she's repaying a debt by taking care of the people around her from previously kind of being a degenerate and a thief. Yeah, she is now on this mission with her friends to head overseas, also kind of being asked to by her mother, who she found alive, which is wonderful, and is just trying to grow up and potentially stop something awful from happening.
Yeah. And also recently requested to be a representative for
Yeah,
the
she's
great city of Asparia.
yeah, little envoy. Also, her talking sword is no longer a talking sword. It is a very adorable non-verbal greyhound dog.
Greyhound dog. Lovely.
Stabby stab to diplomat.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
I
To
still stabby stab.
to-
Oh my god, I think my mouse died
wag.
and I don't know how to mute myself now. Help! Oh, no, it's working. Never mind. Bye.
okay. Given the introductions, I don't think I don't know. I don't remember if I gave my introductions at the beginning. I am your DM, Elijah Goodall. Pronouns they, them. And without any further ado, we're going to get into Arc 3 of Castle Run, the Once and Future Prime. When you left on the ship for the Nightlands, leaving the St. Florian port, you got on the ship just after midnight. It took about no longer than about 15 minutes. The crew's pretty adept to cast off and get going. you sailed mostly in silence and shadow until 5 hours later, the rising of the sun, which rises. You are headed east towards the Nightlands, and as the sun breaks the horizon, you have 5 weeks of traveling over the ocean, supplies on board to last you the 5 weeks. You need not stop and make port anywhere along the way. And even with 5 weeks of sunrises ahead of you, Nyx, you know what it's like. No one else here does. I think the question that hangs in the air, even for some of the crew members of the ship who, part of Mariko's crew here aboard the Eventide has made the run to the Nightlands more than once, but they're about more than half of them are unfamiliar. And the question that hangs in the air is, what's it going to feel like when we stop seeing the sun rise every morning? With that rising of the sun and the crashing of waves on the side of the boat, along with the golden rays that are cast through a clear blue sky, there's a small little yellow flash, and then it darts down, and Amos lands on your shoulder, Perrin. What is Perrin doing as the person who, out of everyone, is very familiar with being on a boat laden with goods bound for somewhere over the waves? What is Perrin doing?
I feel like Perrin's effectively Jack Sparrowing it up, I think. He's clomping around the ship and like stacking ropes, and I think he genuinely knows. Yeah, he's competent. He's a competent ship hand. Like, he knows how a ship like this should operate, but he hired like a very good, very criminal crew. And so he's completely not like, he is a passenger, and they're like, it's not that you're making a mess, it's just that we don't need your help. Like, we're good. So he's just kind of like stacking ropes that a guy was just about to stack, and now he's just like standing there like, I had that. I'm good. Like, I'm in the middle of that task. And like somebody's like filling up a mop bucket, and they like turn around to adjust something. So Perrin's like grabbing the mop and like mopping and like showing how good he is, and like doing lookout, and there's like another better lookout 3 feet above him.
Great. As you are sort of like coiling ropes that don't really need coiling, you see, I'm gonna actually make a check really quick too. You see walking over towards you the wizard Cicero, who is part of your hired crew. A hermit by nature, not unfriendly, but essentially has requested passage to the Nightlands from you in exchange for, well, being a capable wizard. Long white beard, kind of pale skin, kind brown eyes, the top of his hair sort of swept to the side and thinning, still wearing like kind of dark, almost like midnight blue robes, even out here on the ocean. Like, the sun is beating down now, and this is not the right kind of attire to be wearing at sea, but he is wearing it nonetheless. Comes over to you, and I think has seen your plight, and as you are coiling up ropes that don't need coiling, he is next to you, slyly uncoiling the ropes that you are coiling so that you will have more ropes to coil should you need them. And looks over to you.
Quality.
So,
That's a good friend right there.
I'm sorry, it's been a lot. I'm feeling a little. Do you have any tips for someone that tends to get a little?
Are you waking up? Are you feeling sick?
More than a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's a common problem out on the high seas, where I've spent a lot of time on the high seas here on the seas. What I found is that the best way to not throw up is to keep everything inside of your body.
Everything.
You're
Everything.
a one-way passageway, and it only comes out when you want it to come out. That's you
Right.
got to tell your body what's up. You got to be like, I'm in charge here, not you.
Right. Take some agency. Come on now, Cicero. Take some
Yeah.
agency. It goes in. It doesn't.
Like, I don't know
come
if you
out
noticed, but
except when
I'm
you-
never out of control of myself. Like, I have a very strict discipline
Oh,
over
yes,
my life and
that's
behavior.
Fantastic coils in the rope, by the way.
Yeah. Well, of course. This is the longest goddamn rope I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, yes. He's straightening out the other end of the rope that you're coiling. This is taking place, Perrin. You're kind of like trying to busy yourself with tasks on board the ship that don't need doing. Everyone else, what are you doing on this ship?
Majestically combing my hair and beard and letting the sea water spray me, so I just look like this majestic man on the boat. Just taking it all in. Atticus feels free in this moment.
Are you on the prow? There's like a mermaid, and then you're right above the mermaid, and you're way more beautiful than the mermaid is.
Yeah, and I'm standing in like the hands on the hip, leg hoisted up, like looking like Captain Morgan, just
Also
like
topless,
shaking.
like the
as-
mermaid.
I am topless, yes.
Also
Yeah, I
wearing a
like-
seashell
Yeah.
bra.
I mean, hey, you got to get the sun while you can. You're going to a place where the sun
Yeah.
don't shine, so get as much color as you can while you can get it.
Yeah, that's what Atticus is doing.
Lovely. I think Atticus, you look over at the prow of the ship. You notice, like, lying on her back is like you kind of all met. Some of you met members of the crew before you took. Like, there were some that Perrin brought back to where you were all staying. I don't think you've all seen the crew all at once, because when you left, everyone was in a rush and it was the dead of night. So you're sort of now meeting crew members one by, Mariko, the Minotaur captain of the Eventide, did not gather everyone around to do a big introduction. So you're sort of making your own introductions as they occur. But on the other side of the deck, God, I'm going to have to learn port and starboard, aren't I? Because I can't. I'm going to have to learn which is which.
Port is left.
Left?
It's the same number of
If you're
letters.
facing forward, yes, that's what
Yeah,
I
Port
thought.
if you're
left,
facing
four
front,
letters.
it's left.
Yeah, so Atticus, you're staggered a little to port on the prow, and over on the starboard side is Rosa Noche, like very kind of this dark skin, dwarven. You think some kind of artificer, maybe she's always fiddling around with some sort of gadgets. Is like looks tough too, like has a build. You, I think, not to bring up too sore a subject, but recalling like Burgent, when a dwarf is stocky and their trade requires muscle, they develop it. And Rosa is not lacking in this category. Like hair that starts like dark red and kind of like jets down to the side, turning a lighter red by the time it gets to the tips. She is also just sort of lying out on the deck of the ship and looks like doesn't have a job right now because she is also getting some sun.
Great minds think alike, huh?
She
Atticus is just oiling his skin while he's saying that. Where he got it, who knows?
Rosa gives you a nod, and looks like she's about to say something, and then straightens up, like maybe she should have actually been doing something, as the large, velvety black Minotaur captain, Mariko, walks up.
Atticus brought in, is it?
That's my name.
I thought that maybe I should show you around, give you an idea of the ship, and perhaps get you and your companions to select your desired quarters.
Yeah, that sounds, our voices are really similar. Have you ever noticed that?
That was the first thing I thought to myself when you got on board the ship.
Leaned in the quarter. August is like,
Yeah, that sounds great. Shirt optional. I mean, look, I'm trying to get as much sun in as I can.
Mariko, who is not wearing a shirt either. I mean, covered in like velvety black fur, but like just wearing some breeches.
Atticus thinks it's a shirt. He just thinks it is. He thinks he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah, Mariko kind of like raises an eyebrow at you and then sort of like beckons with his horns back towards the center of the ship.
Yeah, Atticus follows suit.
Cool. Everyone else, unless you have little tasks that you would like to be doing, Mariko's going to try and round all of you up to get you to choose your quarters here on the ship.
Because as you can see, this is the above deck here. We try and keep things rather humble. As a above board trade ship, it's, you know, the more respectable and humble we can seem, the less likely we are to get searched when we pull into port in Wrath. So, you know, we keep a lot of unmentionables below deck. If you get my
Like
drift.
underwear?
Yeah, underwear. We keep that.
that's the main thing they smuggle is underwear being brought into the Nightlands.
Really lacy
Well,
ones.
you wouldn't believe the need that these, but listen.
They don't call it the Nightlands
You
for
don't
nothing.
want to hear. You don't want to hear about trades.
Bow, bow.
This is one of the more boring parts of my job. Let me take you below deck and let you have a look around.
Mariko's going to escort you all beneath the deck. Pointing out different. There are more than enough quarters that, like, the crew kind of like. There's two sort of like almost like two galleys at the bottom of the ship towards the rear that the crew takes up. There, and then in addition back there's also a captain's quarters. But you have range. I think there are 12 people if we include August, who I actually did forget about our big, like, slightly, like, green-tinged flame skeleton friend. I think you have a dozen. And there are... Down here, there are 10 large and well-furnished rooms. So some people are going to have to share, but certainly even the people that share will not go wanting for, like, space and amenities.
I have one quick question, just as a bookkeeping thing. Do I need to level August up in between level 3 and him becoming an old man and then a skeleton?
Who is Skeleton Knight? Actually, you know what? It won't.
Level up and then back down.
I will, after this session, I'm gonna just build you actually a little stat block for August.
Okay.
And we could talk about it after. Like, you can pitch me some stuff that you.
I'll
want him to
send
have
what he
access
has,
to,
but
yeah.
he's a basic barbarian stat block is fine,
Cool.
or whatever.
Great. Yeah, I'll build him a little skeleton stat block because there'll be a couple unique things due to the fact that he is a skeleton held together by magic.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe what happened, like how he is alive right now.
Hey, I
You're
described
welcome.
it, and I don't know how to describe it again
Yeah.
either.
It's literally just, it's like just magic, basically. It's
Yeah.
like,
Fauna, just through sheer force of will, was like, no, you're
Yep.
gonna be alive.
You're
You
gonna be
cannot
alive.
die.
You can't die right now.
And he did, but he has no skin.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's fine. You
Um,
don't need that.
I think.
I was just gonna say, Fauna and Cletus would probably definitely share
Yeah.
a cabin.
Yeah, Cletus
So
is already
that-
way Cletus has been already down here, and like that was the first thing he did getting on board the ship was came down and claimed a cabin
Picked
for
the
the
best
two
one.
of you. Yeah, so you can see the door to that is already like cracked, and Cletus is like laying on the bed, and he sort of like looks through the crack and just waves at you.
Yeah.
Yours
Fauna's
is
definitely
yeah,
gonna
yours
go
is good to
in and
go.
check that out.
Vox, Vera has not left your side since getting on the ship. Sort of like she hasn't put like so much excitement was in her, in addition to her devotion on this, that she's probably forgot that like it's gonna be really hard to get clean on a ship for 5 months. But she has probably for the last week of like taking extra has neglected to keep her like self well bathed. So her hair's kind of like matted, and now with the addition of the salt water is like it's not like in locks yet, but it's pretty frizzy and it's not looking great. If she
is
doesn't
very
if she doesn't
bad.
do something about that.
Yeah.
But Vera is
Vo-
like glued to your side right now.
Vox would want the room that like doesn't have windows, furthest away from the sounds of ocean. She wants to pretend that she is not on it. She is not holding up well. She's a little green. Never boated before, so yeah.
This is
and
a
I
pretty
think be-
sad crew because Fauna and Cletus are both also afraid of the ocean.
Also afraid of the ocean.
We're
Yeah.
not doing so great as a
No,
crew.
no, not so hot right now.
Baron is thriving.
Literally, like Parrot and Atticus.
Yeah.
Atticus is just happy to like be on, like nothing's pressing him right now.
Faunus, you've clearly got one. Cicero is going to go and take some quarters. I don't know if August is trying to get his own room or not. You can tell me on that one.
Do skeletons
Um,
need to sleep?
Perrin unloads like whatever bags. Perrin has over prepared, so he has like bags full of like random supplies that are not really necessary, but like might be necessary. So he has like multiple tents and shit like that, and he has just kind of like already moved those into the room. But again, keeping with the I know what I'm doing atmosphere, I think he has a hammock that he has slung at like the end of the hallway under the staircase. So like he wants to sleep where he can keep eyes on the passageway. So he kind of like points at the bed for August, since August has no belongings. Just to make his story as sad as possible. He owns nothing but his axe and his bones.
Great. And it might
If
be
you
quite-
wanna rest your bones in there, if you know what I mean. And August is like, and everybody knows it means fuck you.
Everybody knows. Great. You get your rooms figured out. Like as your party starts to peel off and claim their rooms, Vox and Atticus, you realize all of a sudden that it is just the two of you standing there with Mariko, and there is a single room left on the right. Mariko, right, forgive me, starboard. Mariko looks to the two of you.
Well, I assume you'll both be taking that one then.
Well, yeah, yep.
Wait, are we like roommates?
Seems like it. You do snore, right?
Wait,
I just want to make sure.
Hold on, shit, sorry, did I say Vox and Atticus?
Yeah, it's Nyx.
I fucked
Yeah,
up.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big reveal.
No, because
And there was
yeah.
only one bed.
No, because Vox already
They
picked
were
a room.
roommates.
That was my bad.
I think Nyx has just been distracted this whole time. Like they're kind of very visibly fiddling with the chain around their neck. They don't seem like fully checked into what's going on. They're kind of just going through the motions, pacing around, and almost like following along with the crowd. And so, yeah, they did not pick one for themselves. I think they were just waiting for whatever was left
Okay. I mean, what is left is the one room for you and Atticus. And as Mariko says that and looks at both of you expectantly, it just kind of hangs in the air.
Oh, do you guys want me to kick the skeleton out? Like, I don't even know if he fucking sleeps. Like, it's fine, I'll kick him out. And Perrin is, like, pulling him out of the stack of shit around the bed. It's cool. I got this.
You can... I kind of want to flavor this. Atticus's face is bright red. You cannot tell if he just got sunburnt or he's blushing right now.
I think Nyx just kind of like looks at Atticus and looks at the captain and just shrugs and it's fine, we're both adults, and walks in and throws their stuff down.
So wait, you're saying you want the skeleton to have the room or not? You didn't say anything. You literally just walked away. Do you want him to have the room or not? Can you say something?
Hold on, I think Atticus is muted, but I don't know if...
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, now you're
I just don't pay attention to Perrin and start putting my stuff in the room.
Perrin starts polishing the stairs.
Nyx, do you stay in the room? Are you staying in the room with Atticus, or are you like setting your stuff down and then leaving to go back to the ship?
I think... Well, that depends. Is there a lull in everything? Is it clear that like people are settling in for the night, or is
people are
it like...
settling in? You've still got a while before the night falls. I mean, this is really like late morning, but it's other than like even when all hands are on deck, unless there's some kind of like conflict that you go into, none of you are really needed to help crew this ship. You have 5 weeks of like, I mean, for Perrin, maybe this is a vacation. For other party members, not so much.
I think they're gonna kind of busy themselves with getting their things laid out and almost like Perrin, but the opposite, where they're trying to keep themselves busy, but like very pointedly like amongst their stuff, and almost kind of like taking their time putting out each object like on the sill or whatever, like just laying it all out.
Atticus is the exact opposite. He just like puts one thing somewhere, then he like breaks out his dragon chessboard and like throws it on a table and like hangs his cape like haphazardly, and he's like, so we haven't really talked since I died and everything. How are you? Yeah.
I feel like that's more a question for you, considering everything that you lost. I don't know. I didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah, it's weirdly enough, I'm really at peace about everything that happened. I don't know. I feel like I should be distraught or sad, which I am, don't get me wrong. But I don't know, Nyx. For the longest time, I had like a path in front of me, and I knew the ending. It's like a book you read over and over again, even though you know the ending of it. You still go through with it, and for the first time ever in my life, I feel like I'm kind of aimless. I don't have like a unlimited amount of life left now. I can feel that. I feel more human than I did before. And I don't know. So I'm a little lost, to be honest, but
I know the feeling.
yeah. I guess I really haven't had much time to process Burgent. Or, Bert, really. But I feel like it would be a disservice for me to them to wallow in that, and they know what living after all that means. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I think I have old man brain now.
Let me.
Yeah.
Because I can still kick him out of the room if you want.
That thunders through the door. Nix, give me a perception check.
$22.
Okay. Atticus, I'm going to ask you a question. Because I already know the answer to one because we discussed it. When you went back down on your own to the ruins of the chapel in St. Florian, what did you do with Burgent's hammer?
I still have it.
Is it visible? Like, is it one of the things you unpacked in the room, or is it tucked away in your bag?
Oh, it's like right next to the chessboard that I have.
Okay. Nix, on a 22 then, in this moment, like, Atticus is sort of rambling in front of you. You can see trying to, like, piece his own thoughts together about what has happened and process it. 22, you see two things. You see Burgent's hammer there, leaning against the table by the chessboard. And on that 22 perception, I mean, Atticus, is Atticus still shirtless right now?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So you don't see it on him, but a 22 perception is good enough that you have seen Atticus wearing his armor since it went through its transformation. And while you see the hammer from Burgent there, you think and you realize that blossom that you'd given Atticus pinned to the cape around his armor. That Oracanthus took root. So whatever magic and intention is in that armor, it was enough for your gift to grow.
I think kind of looking around and standing a little awkwardly, like eyes downcast, as Atticus is kind of rambling. I think they'll just cut him off and like, look, Atticus, we've been through a lot, and I know I said some things, and they will always be true, but I don't expect you to say anything back. You have a lot to process. You just got your life back, a new life, a life you probably never thought that would truly be yours. I mean, I know you've died and come back again multiple times, but all of that was towards a different purpose and for other people. None of it was really something that you wanted to live for you. And now you get this one, and this one has to count. And no one can say what that looks like except for you. I'm on a bit of a similar journey here now, and well, I'm feeling just as lost and, to be honest, scared as hell. But for now, I say we just let it ride and enjoy what sunsets we still have. For somebody who grew up with no sun at all and spent most of my life avoiding it, I have to say I might actually kind of miss it. There's been a lot of adventures under that thing.
Yeah, you see, like, Atticus is kind of like frantic, like rambling, trying to process their own thoughts, kind of like calm down as Nyx speaks, and he's like, you know, I've never been to the Nightlands before, so I don't really know what to expect, but Atticus kind of like reaches his hand out as if to like gesture for Nyx's hand, and just says, you know,
Give it.
this life does have to count, but it doesn't count to me if I don't at least get to explore some of it with you.
I think they'll step in a little closer and kind of smile to themselves at that, and look up and like touch a bit of the gray in his hair, and it suits you, you know. Proper Southern gentleman now.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I mean, I feel like I got hotter, you know. I've always felt like I was pretty hot.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say it. I didn't want to let it get to your head, but
I was a mustache man for so long, and I just never thought about growing a beard out or growing my hair out, but
He also got more modest.
Yeah, as you are like saying this, like in close with each other, outside in the hallway, you hear Mariko like shouting at Perry.
Hey, listen. I understand your guests on the ship and you paid for your way and all, but you can't just leave this skeleton standing out here in the middle of the galleyway. Like,
You
some of the
can't talk to
crew-
my friend that way. This guy,
Listen,
what was your name? This is my friend. And I respect his autonomy.
listen, I respect his autonomy too, but a lot of the crew would feel much more comfortable if his autonomy was less, perhaps, present until they become accustomed to an enormous fucking skeleton with translucent green flames licking around his bones, wandering around a very flammable ship.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think is underneath your skin and muscles? A giant skeleton with green flames licking around your skull. Every single one of us on this ship, inside of us, we have a skeleton with tiny green flames like a beard licking around our skull.
Roll me a persuasion
Maybe be
check.
a little. Just try to not project your issues onto your own personal issues onto our friend here, who's just living openly his true self.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a persuasion check.
what the fuck is Perrin yapping about outside?
I had to get my thing up in front of me.
Nice.
Oh, that wasn't even it.
That is 22.
All right, on a 22, there's a moment of pause, and then Mariko goes,
I think you're right. I always felt deeply uncomfortable with my own bones. Really, the idea of my insides at all. I prefer to keep, I'm in charge of when my insides are inside and when they come outside. It's the only way to survive on a ship, is to be in charge.
That's what they
of
always
things that
say.
stay inside.
You gotta keep the insides on the inside.
Famously, they always say on a ship the best thing you can do is keep your insides inside, unless you want.
It's just like Captain Sheegard's writings. You gotta keep those insides inside.
Can't say I'm familiar. Yeah. Do you know any more?
Sheegard?
Can't I?
You should check your ship's library. I can't believe you don't know Captain Sheegard's writings.
Nyx and Atticus, you kind of hear this conversation fade off as they head back up to the main deck.
August definitely holds up a hand to fist bump Perrin, and Perrin's like, "Don't fucking touch me."
Well, now that we've talked about it, can I ask you something?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I'm I've been thinking about this for the past couple hours, and I can't see a way around it. So I'm scared to pull my father out. I don't know if he'll survive his injuries. So I think I'm gonna go in. And truth be told, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I can or if I can pull myself out willingly after, but I have to try. I have to speak to him. It's been centuries.
Yeah. You need to do that. Atticus kind of like looks around and he like is looking for his little like rock phone thing that Atlas gave him.
Oh yeah,
He's
the
like,
little it's like the little plate of like it was a shard from the Mirrored Knight's armor that Atticus turned into a speaking mirror.
Yeah, I mean, Atlas is at the Phoenix Library, and I can talk to him. There might be a book there or something that can help with the magic. Or could I even look at the Lunestone that they're in?
I was actually going to ask if you would hang on to me in the meantime, and maybe if I can't pull myself after, if you could try, or if Atlas could try. I don't know. Time works differently in there, and I won't be able to track it as well. So if you're worried, or if something happens here, or if it's been too long, just don't lose me.
You don't even have to ask that. I'm here.
I think they're gonna take it off their neck and pass it over, and they hesitate just a second before they do. And as they like slip it into your hand, Atticus, like you can tell that their hands are shaking, and they're fucking terrified, not only of going back into like their what was essentially a prison for them for centuries, and as an extremely claustrophobic person, but also like they don't know when next they're gonna come out. Like they've gone into that stone before thinking that it was just gonna be for a couple minutes, and the next time they come out, it's like 200 years later. And
Atticus sees the handshake, and he just kind of, while Nick's putting his hand, he puts his big fucking mitt on top of her hand, and he's like, "I'll see you real soon. Don't worry."
They give his hand a little squeeze and kind of take a breath, and almost seem to like take a last look of him and kind of like try and commit his face to memory, I think. And I think roll a perception check for me.
Me roll a perception?
Yes.
8.
Perfect. If
roll
Atticus
a-
will allow it, I think they're gonna go up on tiptoe for a kiss. And
Yeah.
if he kind of like
Con-
pulls away, they will as well. But
Contested strength.
No, the worst way.
No, Atticus accepts it. Like, yeah.
You don't really notice anything, but you do feel a brief moment of like tingling warmth, like centered around your phoenix rot, and then it will go away. And I'm going to DM.
I ain't got no Phoenix
yeah.
rot no
No.
more.
Where it
I ain't
used to
got
be.
no
Phoenix is
Phoenix.
where it used to
I got
be.
no Phoenix rot no more.
Now he just has a really cool tribal tattoo.
Yeah, it's like Vin Diesel.
Oh,
Cool.
They were trying to do
I just want
something
to.
while he was distracted.
Yeah, while Nyx is going into the Loonstone, I would just like to preface, if I get 10 minutes with this, I would like to discern the quality it possesses per the spell Identify, per
Yep.
my Mage Slayer.
Yep.
And I would also love to roll an Arcana check on it.
Yeah,
to just see
absolutely.
it in
Nice.
the case of like I need to pull them out.
Yep. Roll
in
me an
some
Arcana
way.
check. But also, you definitely, I mean, you're going to have 10 minutes to cast Identify too, for sure.
That is 26.
26.
Plus 8 to Arcana. Thank you,
Outstanding.
Mage Slayer.
Yeah. Outstanding. Yeah, between casting Identify and then getting that check on Arcana, I will tell you immediately, like, you're casting this on the duplicate Loonstone, right? That has Nyx's father. And so, okay, cool. I mean, Arcana check, you can, that 26, you can tell this object did not, like, it has that same sort of like, it has that same kind of arcane aura around it that some of the things in the Dreadspire did, where you're like, okay, this probably didn't originate here. Makes sense. Like Perrin walks through apparently, like, Perrin must have gone through a door that, like, in order to get this isn't like a copy of Nyx's Loonstone. This is the Loonstone. It's just not Nyx's Loonstone. It's
the one and only Loonstone,
It's a-
but it's also not Nyx's Loonstone.
yes.
Atticus at this thought is like starting to think of like quantum physics and like multiple realities, and also, wait, why are we on a boat? Why couldn't we just take a door to the Nightlands? Like, just a million thoughts running through his head of like,
Maybe that's 26
it's like
Arcana.
math-
You would know Perrin's never been there before. So that's
I'm like, all right, that makes sense for that one
tracks.
thing.
Yeah. Okay. Before I say anything else with the Identify spell or Nyx tell you what you encounter, we're going to get back to that. I'm going to cut over to Fauna. As you are going like into your room to get set up, Cletus like jumps off the bed and he's like, wait, hold on. Fauna, before you get all set up, listen, you know how we were talking, we were going to make like a beautiful garden, in our court. I got something to show you.
Okay.
Cletus takes your hand and is going to, it's like, walk quickly with you out of your quarters. And you get to another staircase and you realize there's a whole nother, this is a pretty big ship. There's a whole nother level. Like if you go down one more set, there's a whole nother section beneath the crew quarters and your quarters. And as Cletus takes you down, he looks back at you. I just, listen, you're going to flip when you see it. I couldn't believe it's really something else. I mean, I know you can do a lot with your magic. I think you're going to be surprised. When you are walking down the stairs, hit the bottom, get to this new level. Looking, it's lit down here. Like there are a few of those. Actually, I don't know if you would have seen lights like this before. Essentially, they're almost like these little sea glass baubles that are filled with some sort of, not dissimilar from the orb that you carry. And they're just sort of like emanating light, but it is what is lighting up the bottom of the ship down here is torches. Even though it's a ship and it's wet, maybe not the best idea to have a lot of like actively burning fire to keep things lit down here at the base level. You see stretching away from you, you get to the bottom of the stairs. Behind you, there is like this like sort of winding little corridor that goes off. It's not where Cletus is taking you. Ahead of you, you see down in this section of the ship, there are little, what is it? It's the window on a ship. It's a portcullis, right? Portcullis? Or is it just portcullis?
Hey man, this is D&D. It can be whatever you want.
It can be whatever I want.
Well, there's
round windows on a
different
ship.
types.
I should have
them,
brushed up on my
so.
nautical terms before like these seafaring sessions. I now realize, which is my fault. But
I think portholes are just like the round
portholes,
window
yes,
ones.
thank you.
Portcullises are the ones that are like more at the top of the ship that like
got it.
let water out,
cool.
I think once the
Okay. Well
I could
then,
be wrong with
A
that.
portcullis has nothing to do with a ship. A portcullis is part of a castle.
there we go.
Oh, so we're just conflating two
So
things.
It's the grate that
Yeah.
drops down in front of
Just
a doors.
portholes. But as you are headed into this room, you open the door. The first thing that you hear, birds? Can't be right, you're on a ship. But you hear them. It's odd because they sound distant, like a distance that even if birds were on the other side of the ship, like there's not that much space. So immediately you're aware of something going on here. The next thing you see is there's these massive portholes, truly like for the level of the ship, like almost floor to ceiling portholes, that there are 6 like that, almost like sections of a greenhouse. And they are shining in on what appears to be a paludarium, which is essentially an aquatic and land-based like little greenhouse or terrarium thing going on here. But you can see it almost looks like perhaps it's like washing up from like the bottom of the ship and then drains out. But there's like this a constant, but like almost like little tides of its own, like a few inches deep, water washing over sand and further soil. But it is like there are plants everywhere. Some of them almost like mangroves are growing in the water, out of the water. The smell in here is like this fruity, almost kind of mint smell that just pervades the entire space. And one of the main things that you see, go ahead and give me a nature check real quick.
$17.
17. You recognize a plant, wouldn't have grown in the Evewood, but you came to know it in St. Florian because it does thrive there. Grows kind of a lot of times in with the mangroves. You see queensmint bush. Large, broad, green leaves, accented by these little bright pink and green berries. Sort of like almost like small strawberries, the way that they have these like exterior seeds on them. And queensmint requires, like, the reason that you saw it in St. Florian is because it is a highly coveted trade good, but there's no way to transport queensmint. Like, it has to, the fruit that it produces has to be alive when you pit, like, it can perish so quickly, so it would never make it overseas for trade. So there has to be a way to keep the Queen's Mint alive on its process there. The only way of preserving it is to basically pick the fruit and then ferment it. Otherwise, you have to have live specimens, and it looks like that is specifically what this room is for, is keeping these plants alive until you can get to the Nightlands.
Yeah, I think Fauna's just like so overcome and enraptured. Like, she's just been a little nervous so far because she's not a big fan of the open ocean. She's never really experienced it before. So like she's been afraid since they got on the ship, but I think this is the first time that she has completely forgotten that. Like it's so magical and just enveloping of all the senses and just making her feel like she's on land. And she just looks at Cletus and says, "Oh my goddess, did you do this? Where did this come from?"
I wish I could take credit for it. I have no idea. I claimed our quarters pretty quick, and then I was wandering around like an hour ago, and I realized there was a whole nother level to the ship, and I came down here and I just found this. Now, listen, it's crazy actually, because I know neither one of us like being out in the open water. Get a load of this. And he takes your hand and he brings you over. You see he takes off his boots and steps. Right now it's about just kind of like 3 inches of salt water, like sort of shifting with the boat as it rocks up and down on the waves. Okay, now, I know it's not like swimming in the ocean or whatever, but the way I see it, we can get our feet wet, so to speak, you know? Get comfortable wading around in the water down here where, you know, everything's beautiful and cozy and green. And before you know it, we'll be up there on the deck with everyone else.
It's perfect. But
Cletus is going to, has both your hands and is going to, bring you in a little closer so you're kind of, tucked up underneath him. He leans over. Just 'cause you're afraid of something, Fauna, don't mean something's not growing.
I'm certainly less afraid with you here. She's gonna lean in and just rest. I actually don't know how. Rest her head as much as she can, just on Cletus's chest.
Yeah.
And just stand there quietly for a minute, taking in just everything about the room.
Fauna, I want you to just give me a general... You're going to give me a general spellcasting check. So really it's going to use your wisdom modifier. So you're just going to add your wisdom modifier to a d20 roll.
16.
Cool. On a 16, you're leaning in towards Cletus, kind of eyes closed, like Cletus holding you back. And you hear a voice by the doors.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wonderful. Simply wonderful. Pardon me, I don't mean to intrude, but are you doing that to my plants?
Who, doing what? And who are you?
Fauna, as you pull back and look around, you realize that in that space, in feeling safe for that moment, while being surrounded by things that you have a deep fear of, there are Queen's Mint in here that were not blossoming yet that now have ripe fruit on them. A lot of these bushes have like grown larger. Some of the flowers in the room have almost grown towards you in Cletus. They're little creeping green new plants that are coming up out of the soil near your feet. And
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean
it's
to.
it's quite all right. And you look over, about 5.5 feet, not terribly tall. Give me a history check real quick, just to see if
This is George all over again. You better roll high.
I only have +1 to history. 19.
19. You have never seen one. The chances probably would have been highest of you like meeting one in Asparia. But Dragonborn are exceedingly rare. But what you're seeing now is about 5.5 feet. Green scales that sort of like lick down tight, a very narrow, like not quite crocodile, but like a very elongated snout, and sort of like little tiny, like little bit of an overbite on like a few of the teeth coming out. These green feathers that are sort of like combed back and then splay out. Just simple, like little beige tunic and breeches, like someone who obviously like botanist clothing, and like the breeches are tied up so that he can walk around without having to get too wet here in the Paludarium. And in a little bit of contrast to the lighter green of his scales and skin, there are these dark green horns that kind of like arch back and then point a little bit forward at the tips, and you can see one is like broken off a little bit on this side. But you are looking at a Dragonborn.
I think Fauna doesn't like. So I've never seen one. Do I know what a Dragonborn is though, or it's just a new being?
You do on a history check that you've never seen a Dragonborn before,
but
you
I would know.
Have heard yes of a people whose lineage is linked. I mean, dragons supposedly extinct now. They have not been around for a long, long time. But it is. I mean, where else would Dragonborns have come from? Were there not at one time dragons?
I think Fauna immediately feels more comfortable in the presence of anyone or anything that is like plant or animal nature, more so than humans or so like the fact that the Dragonborn is more, natural world animal presenting versus just like human presenting. I think Fauna would just immediately feel more comfortable, and she would offer like just like, oh, I'm my name is Fauna, like, is this your room? It's so beautiful.
Forgive me. Yes. We haven't been introduced. My name is Hesparquin, and I am the botanist for the Paludarium. It's my job to ensure that the Queen's Mint arrives in the Nightlands fresh as it left.
They didn't tell us there would be a botanist on board. We were hoping to make our own modest little greenhouse, but now it looks like we don't have to.
Oh no, by all means. Would you like to borrow any cuttings or seedlings for your room? I don't know if you have any light in it, but
You see immediately he like gets out a little pair of shears and is like clipping things off at the little like section, and just starts to like put them in a little cloth that he's wrapping up.
That's so generous. Yes, we don't
we don't
really have all of this, but I think I might be able to make something happen. And she's going, like, Fauna's just going to conjure like a tiny little green flame in her hand, like in response to him saying like, I don't know if you have the like light or whatever.
I hope it's not too presumptuous for me to ask, but Mighty, are you a witch?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I've never met a witch before.
Well, I've never met a dragonborn before, so
Oh, well. Oh, aren't we just birds of a feather?
You see, tucks one of his feathers back into place absentmindedly as he says that.
Yes. Yes, the cuttings.
These will, and just immediately begins handing you like cuttings and seeds and rattling off information that I think you can keep up with, but Cletus is like looking down at these plants. If Cletus goes anywhere near them, he will kill them. And will desperately want to do a good job with them, but will not. So it's up to you, but I'll let your nature check ride. You're going to do a great job growing these
yeah,
things.
I think I'm like taking them and then like handing them off to Cletus, like as.
Oh, God.
Does this?
Yeah.
Do you have a nickname?
Not in the water.
Because
Dry, keep it roots
Your
dry.
regular name is quite a mouthful.
Oh, forget. You can just call me Quinn if you like.
Thank you, Quinn.
Oh, of course. Any time you like.
And you see sort of very earnestly like takes his two hands and like comes to us.
You're welcome here anytime. Please don't. You didn't ask or anytime. I know it can
Thank
be a
you,
lot
and-
up there with all the sloshing and the waves and the hard to keep your insides in where they're supposed to be.
Well, I'd like to give you something in return, and Fauna's going to. Let's see. I have like a variety of plants. One moment while I consult my list.
You actually have more than that because Perrin for sure stocked your bag full of like seeds and seed pods and shit.
Sweet, thanks, Farron. Good looking out. But I think I'm going to specifically give him one of those, because it's not just any plant, but it's like the magical plants, magical properties. Give him one of the flowers that you like give you a spell slot. I think I have.
Oh,
like
yeah, the
2 or 3 of
Oracanthus.
those left. Yeah.
An aura lily. Amazing. You hand one of those over. Quinn takes it.
Oh, wonderful. I dare say. An aura lily, correct? Or Oracanthus as it's properly called. This is...
Do you think you'd be able to propagate it here and grow more?
Yeah, it does take a particular type of soil. It's, I must say, perhaps not as fussy as Queensman, but it's not easy to grow.
You see, he goes over to a little set of like wooden dressers over in the corner and begins opening drawers. And you see the drawers are just full of like different types of soil in the drawers. So he's just pulling out handfuls of soil, smells it, tastes it.
No, they're far too acidic. I think if I blend, yes, I'll take a crack at it, certainly. If it seems to be failing, I'm sure I could perhaps have some of your assistance to get it to root.
Well, it's okay if it doesn't take. I just wanted you to have it.
Oh no, it'll take. I promise you, it'll take. If I have...
And we are going to cut out of the paludarium with Cletus like trying to still remember where each different cutting and seed is placed. And I think before we cut to anything with the Loonstone, we're going to take our 10-minute break real quick. So we will be back in 10 minutes and then cut to that. And I'm going to switch. I'm glad we got that all settled. Okay.
Big ideas here.
Yeah. Actually, before we get, I'm going to do one last thing before we get to the Loonstone. Vox, you are headed out of the, your cabin. Vera is kind of like staying behind to like organize both her and your like belong and like put them carefully away the way that she knows you would like them put away.
Fox also gave her orders to clean herself up because she is making her extra nauseous too.
Great.
It is just like the smell of her unwashed hair and her not bathing for a while. She's like, no, if we're
Awesome.
sharing this room, you need to do something about this.
Yeah, of course. I get it. I can do
If
that.
you need help, I know Fauna lived with a coven, so I think that means she knows how to do hair. She had like a gaggle of sisters. I think that's how that works.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask her. Give me an insight check real quick.
The 17.
Cool. On a 17, Vera is for the first time considering the thought that like she was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to be how Vox is. I'm gonna learn how to be a badass, and if I learn how to be a badass, then it's great. Then people will accept me, and I'll have a family, and it'll be cool. And it is just now occurring to her that she might have to do more than just be a badass in order to like find her place in this family. And it is a lot for her. She is now all of a sudden thinking of all the other things that like, oh my God, what if I have to do this? And what if, oh God, oh, and I said that one, I wasn't even thinking about what I said then, and did like this whole terrible blossoming of overthinking every interaction that she's had with someone in the party for like the last week. Yeah.
You wanted to be like me. I didn't want the anxiety to carry over too.
As you register this and head out, give me a perception check real quick.
It's a 20, but not a nat, a dirty.
Okay.
Because I got a
Dirty
19
20.
plus 1.
Dirty 20. You were walking out. Your footing's still pretty unsteady. I mean, you've never been on a ship before, much less in the open sea, and it's still rough to keep your footing. There's this constant, like, I mean, the waves are hitting the side of but like, there's just sort of this constant noise of the ocean that is always going out here. And I think a lot of other people would be used to it by now. Like, you're still hearing it because it clouds your senses. Your usually like keen ears help you in knowing what the space looks like and if there are threats, what to, and so like you're still acutely aware of that constant rhythm, the ship carving through the water, the waves hitting the sides. And so a noise that would be lost to everyone else amidst the din of the waves is not lost to you. Beneath your feet, somewhere on the level below, you hear in almost exact timbre with the crash of the waves, but it's sustained. A long, low and a thud against the side of the ship that does not come from a wave outside.
God. She's gonna follow it, but she's just like muttering herself as she's like walking lower. She's just like, I don't understand. Why we just didn't take a door? Why are we on a damn boat? I hate the boat.
As you head to the stairs, you are like starting to head towards where you think the noise was probably coming from. you almost run into a figure coming down the stairs. You don't have to make a history check to recognize this because you have seen someone like this once before. The moth in the Black Mountain. God, I need to hold on. I made so many races for this arc. I need to go make sure that I'm remembering my name correct when I introduce one for the first time.
Palomilo?
Yeah, Vox, you see a Palomilo. A very slight, like taller than you, but truly like could be knocked over by a stiff breeze. This very slight, four-armed, basically moth folk coming down the stairs. Large, bright, opalescent, like there's no pupil to these eyes. They're just like large, bright, and kind of almost opalescent with another second set right here. Not compound eyes, but like multiple sets of eyes. Long, spindly, like four-armed, spindly legs covered in what looks to be like almost the finest white fur all over her entire body. And you see one wing, like outstretched, like one wing is outstretched and there's barely enough room coming down the stairs in this ship for this wing to be fully outstretched. You see the other one is like crumpled and to the side, not because they've folded it over, but it almost looks like they have a lame wing and it's been like sort of crushed up and folded in on itself, but they have adjusted the wing in such a way that they're almost wearing it like a cloak over one shoulder as it drapes around their body. Almost runs into you at the bottom of the stairs. Oh, forgive me.
No, I'm sorry. I'm distracted. Do you hear that?
I hear many things on this ship. There are the waves.
Yeah, God, the waves.
Creatures. Are you uncomfortable on the ocean?
Hate this. I have never been on a boat before, not like this. Maybe once in a tower we were on a boat, and I had a terrible experience with that. But I'm from Esparia, and it's just large desert, and we don't really do the whole traveling overseas thing.
Well,
So yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm sorry to hear that you are uncomfortable.
Oh,
May I? Do you mind if?
And sort of looks at you permission as she's like reaching out a hand, sort of like thumb for your forehead.
Oh, why not? Sure. If you think you can help with this, because I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
5 weeks?
If you 5 weeks. If you are allowing it to happen, Fox, then you can choose to not make a save for it. But
oh God,
this Palomino is going to cast Calm Emotions on you. So if you allow that to happen, you feel a sense of peace wash over you, and for a moment, you forget that you are in the open ocean, and instead, salt-soaked as it may be, you smell the wood of the ship. Almost like cedar. There's a kind of spice to it that is fragrant. Standing here below deck. And she looks at you. Will tell you that when I first was in the open water myself, I also felt fear. But can I show you something that might help.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you just did definitely helps a lot. So, yeah, why not?
Brings up another hand and then another, so 3 hands total now, sort of like encircling your head.
Cool.
And Vox, you are given a picture. Give me a history check real quick, because we're going to see how like well you can interpret this, since it's just sort of a series of images.
You got an 18.
Oh, 18. On an 18, you are. I think you would be familiar with the fact, it would be known in Asparia that the reason that the moth, the only Palamio that you've ever met before, is the curator of the Black Mountain, is because Palamios are known for being incredibly curious, and usually within the course, pretty early on in their lifetime, after they reach adulthood, they tend to find an object of fascination, something that attracts them. And once they find it, it becomes their obsession. They rarely like to leave it. They will go so far as to like build a house or a nest around whatever the object or the place might be. And usually their life is lived in some sort of devotion, or like every aspect of their life is tailored to this object that they have found. Hence why the moth had a curio shop. Like, perhaps an unusual thing for his species, because his fascinations were just with curios, with objects that should arouse curiosity, but he needed to surround himself with as many of them as possible. The vision that Ismith gives you in this moment is of her. And she is standing in a forest. Truly this enormous, like maybe somewhere in the South Green, so I guess maybe a cross between forest and swamp, like standing in front of a truly massive tree. I mean, trunk as big as a house, towering up hundreds of feet into the sky, like leafy green branches. And you see, or feel rather, her feelings of absolute elation at having found this tree. You see time pass. She builds a home in the tree, like lives her entire life almost in solitude, but just sort of in devotion and worship to this tree. Sustenance comes from the tree. Water is found in the bits of dew that collect and run in the rivulets of bark or sap, if she can't get the dew. And then you see something, I think on an 18 you would know this too, because you saw, oh no, you did not see it happen actually, because you left the Black Mountain before this happened. So you wouldn't have seen this happen before, but in the image you see Ismith, because that is her name, cocooning herself into a pot in the tree. And on the 18 you would know that sometimes Palamios will go through a metamorphic stage where they cocoon for a long time and revert to a form of their younger self. They will lose some memories occasionally, bits of who they were. Sometimes their personality is a little different when they emerge, but their devotion and love of their object of fascination is no less. And they do it because they wish to spend, like, one life is not enough, spend in devotion to this thing. And so you see that she's cocooning herself on this tree. And then you see the tree being cut down, harvested, and made into a ship to sail the open seas. And it is why when Ismith came out of her metamorphosis, she followed the call of her tree to this ship and has been on it ever since, as a permanent crewmate of the Eventide. But as you get this vision along with it, as Ismith is drawing her hands away, is the overwhelming feeling that, like, ship, I mean, you're more familiar with the desert and the canyons but the ship made of wood, came from wood. And even out here, adrift on the ocean, you feel its roots reaching deep into the earth. And you feel the way that Ismith feels about this ship, which is that even out here in the open ocean, her tree would not allow harm to come to her if it was something that it could prevent. And you get the same feeling.
Thank you. That is so beautiful. The ship, the tree. Does it have a name?
Before it was the ship, in another life, I do not remember what name I had for it, but it is a thing where I knew the tree deeper than names, and now the ship is called the Eventide, the line between day and night, and I think that is fitting.
No, I feel a lot better after that. So thank you. I'm Vox, by the way, and you are
Ismith.
Ismith.
That's my name.
Okay.
It is good to meet you, Vox.
Thank you. I can't even remember what I was doing. Huh.
I am going above deck after I get some water for myself. Would you like to come with me?
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Ismith smiles and is going to go get water, and then you head back up on deck with Ismith. We are going to cut back now to the Loonstone. Your identify spell cast on it, Atticus, tells you several things. One of those is that this is in every way. I think with Nyx's Loonstone, right? That, like, you're wearing Nyx's Loonstone and then you're holding. Or wait, Nyx, did you go? You went in with your Loonstone into the other one, and then yes. So you're casting Identify on the Loons, which has another Loonstone in it. It has the Nyx's Loonstone. Identical in every way, except where they originated, because you're not holding Nyx's Loonstone, or rather, you're not holding your Nyx's Loonstone. It's the Loonstone for a different Nyx. That, I mean, all you know is what you can identify from the Loonstone, which is that Nyx isn't in it anymore. The person that you know as Calathus is bound to this Loonstone now. You are able to ascertain that the Loonstone is basically in a similar way, actually, that well, actually, I don't know if we've covered that yet, so I'm not going to give you that for free with the Identify spell, but it is refined night glass, refined to such a point that it would require not only a powerful artificer and also someone pretty skilled in the ways of arcana, but it would also require an enormous amount of night glass to like refine it to this point that it has created this stone with these, you know, these beautiful little facets in it. You get that. The other thing that you get, I'm going to tell you after. Nyx, you are in this stone again. It has been a long time since you have been inside it. I think since Imago, when you were trapped in your... Were you? No, you were just controlled. You weren't even trapped in it. So it's truly been beginning of the campaign. So like...
I think the last time was briefly when the waning night sucked them in.
Okay. Stepping in here, this different loomstone is much the same way as you remember. Those shimmering water patterns on the wall. The light in the space comes through, but it's different as it shines through, refracted and dimmed by the walls of the loonstone. And give me a perception check.
16.
16. The loonstone that you recall sparse, empty, much like a prison, also in its minimalism. This one is different. You see carved out of the same stone that the loonstone is made of, so that refined night glass. You see staircases, lofts, tiers, almost like you're in the interior of a palace. A familiar palace. Because it looks a lot like Loonhelm. And as you are in here, this translucent... At first you didn't see it, but then you realize you're feeling it the same way that at the base of when you would like step outside the Loonhelm Tower, there was always like, depending on the level of tide, there was always anywhere from like a few inches to like almost a foot of gently washing ocean that would come up against the base of the tower. Even here on what looks like the interior of the tower, that water's here, but completely translucent, so it's impossible to see, except that it just refracts the light in certain ways, but it is what is creating the water surface. Oh, like it is what is shining back on the light. Perfectly warm, so even in that it's hard to feel, but it is like this soothing rhythm that laps up against your ankles. And the stairs go up, and you know exactly how Loonhelm works. If this works anything like the old one did, it's up the stairs, down the main corridor, peel away to the left, and you'll find the throne room.
I think kind of when they first got sucked in, they're almost like fully clenched and just bracing themselves for like the old tight quarters and are just absolutely shocked, and also like the tension kind of visibly sags out of their shoulders a little bit, and they'll take the stairs and head to the throne room.
Walking into the throne room, similar to the one back in the tower, like there are walls carved around, but the top is open, and even though it's not truly open because the refined night glass of the stone is still above you. It is jagged and uneven, almost like the sky would be in the actual Loonhelm. In front of you, you see that same black carved throne. Not black, because you're inside those, so it's like all that same material basically, but same shape. A jagged run, almost like the top half has been broken off, but that's how it's been. I mean, that's how it was when you were a child, and you can only assume that no one's repaired it by now. On it, sitting, you see Calathus.
Nyx lets out like a little like half-choked daddy, and just like tears come and they just run straight to him.
You run, wincing as he rises from the throne and holding wounds that in the fresh, like, king's garments that he's wearing, you can't see the wounds. Certainly they're still there. But he gets up off the throne and meets you halfway.
I am so sorry, I forgot. I was... You saved me.
I can't believe I found you. I can't believe you're alive. Did you know that whole time I was with you? That whole time you had me?
A part of me knew, but the things that she took from me, stripped away,
She hid you from me too. God, I hated you for so long. You were the only thing I could... I lost so much of my memories, and after everything with Grace, I just couldn't take it anymore, and well, the stone saved me, and after that, a little bit of the old spells broke, and you were the only face I could see that I put on as my master, as my jailer, and how could she make me hate you? How could she make me forget you?
what she has done is unforgivable. But look at you.
And he's going to take a step back, looks around the room, and then back to you.
You were so small the last time I saw you, and now, truly, what you have grown into.
Don't seem to have changed today. I missed you so much. What happened? What happened that night that they attacked and took you both from me?
When your when your father fell, when my husband I was not there. We knew that the tower was under attack. I ran for your room to find you, but you know your father, he found his way to you first. And by the time I got to the throne room, he was gone. The stone gone. Then she was there. I did not know that she could not be trusted. She was our advisor. It was on her advice that we constructed the Lunestone. I thought to myself, how could someone who had such concern of the safety of our child wish us so much ill? So I left with her. And the rest is a rot of whispers and curses. For centuries she stripped me from myself. I forgot I had a husband. I forgot I had a child. I forgot I was ever king of anything. But it is strange. Anytime there was a new moon, and I would be surrounded by all that darkness, nothing but the stars. I always felt something in it. Something that made me hold on to a part of myself that she tried to take away. That part was you, all along.
Nix is just gonna take up his hand and just like press it against their cheek and just like melt into it and kind of cup it and sag in closer to him and just kind of breathe him in for a second. And just the fact that like he still smells the same. And we've lost so much time, I don't know how to make up for it, how to catch up, but
Do not think of the years we have lost, my child. Think only of the time we still may have together.
make the most of that. I don't.
Yes.
You spoke of Dinah earlier, and it doesn't make sense to me. Is she the one who did this to you?
I believe. I am not the only one she has wronged. I am not the only one who has heard her whispers. I think we are both owed a reckoning.
I thought she was dead all these years. I was supposed to protect her. And so it was her this whole time, not Balak.
Perhaps he also may be owed a reckoning. when
Well,
the time
that one's already
comes.
been served.
Well,
Atticus, outside of the Loonstone, I am going to tell you what the rest of your Identify spell reveals, along with that 26 on the Arcana check. This Loonstone that you're holding, you know how Nyx's works because you've seen the power that it holds over them. You've heard Nyx describe some things, and you can sense casting Identify, like the Nyx's Loonstone is in this Loonstone too, so essentially you're kind of casting Identify on both. This Loonstone that you hold was never meant to be a prison. And while it could protect, whoever was tethered to it could retreat inside the safety of the stone. They could come out whenever they wanted. There was no locked door. The stone that Nyx wears and is tethered to is different. Something built to be a fortress, a safe place, was turned into a prison. There are whispers in the workings of that stone that destroyed, or at the very least perverted, its true purpose. And you're casting Identify on it. I think I have to give you this too. In the same way that it was perverted to be a prison, it is also a siphon. A siphon for the arcane. And I think, Atticus, you realize that with all those centuries spent locked away inside the stone, especially for the period of time where it was just lost, all that time, it was draining Nyx's power and feeding it somewhere else.
Atticus mutters under his breath by himself, "Holy fucking shit. Well, I'll be."
Almost like coming back into themselves. Nyx is just gonna pull back and kind of observe him and his wounds and everything, and instantly just start like muttering nonsense and starting to like look at them. And if I can, can I cast spells in Moonstone? In this one,
Give it
in
a
this
shot.
one, they're gonna try and cure wounds a little bit. What should I roll something? Gonna try and cast cure wounds.
Just cast it. Tell me
Okay.
what it looks like.
I mean, the same way that they do anything of protection or like drawing from their own life essence or healing, where it's you can literally see their life essence like tinged with moonlight, and it coming up from them, and it almost like shines a little brighter through like the thinner skin of their scars, and just like transfers through into their hands and into Mala, and yeah, I'm gonna cast that, but I don't want to keep you here. But do you think if we come out, she'll know, if she'll find you? You still feel her linked?
I'm gonna roll.
That was a terrifying face.
Well, it'll be on the dice cam. Mala looks at you. I do not believe she will. Whether she needs to focus her attention elsewhere, or if something in the cords she had bound me with were broken. I believe for now we are safe.
Well then, let's see if I can actually do this myself this time. And Nyx is gonna grab both of their hands and try and pull themselves out.
As you go to be pulled out of the stone, Nyx, moonlight, silvery and soft, grows in the space around you and your father. It's as easy as letting go. As you do, you see Mala looks around, sees you in the throne room, the light growing. You were born on a new moon, in utter darkness. And yet look how at each passing day you bring forth more light. And you are out of the stone. Atticus, did you go above deck at all, or are you still down in the quarters?
Still in the quarters.
Mala.
Whoa, what the
and,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I think for a second, Nyx is like looking around and almost like trying to see how much time has passed and like get oriented a little bit. But I mean,
Atticus
Atticus
goes, girls,
still
it's
shirtless.
been like Maybe 5 minutes.
Oh,
It
time
worked.
passes differently in the stone. We have been, I think, decades. We are so hung. I'm sorry, I can't read the room. Is this joke going over or no? It's fine. It's 5 minutes to it.
Nyx
not
is
hard
absolutely
to-
laughing and also crying a little bit, but it was mostly just like the sheer emotions and relief and just like delight to have their father back.
Yeah, Atticus hasn't really addressed. He's just kind of staring intently at Nyx's actual Lunestone, and kind of like studying it, and then like looking at the Lunestone that he still has in his hand, and kind of like comparing the two, and
Yeah.
he finally, these are. He like holds the one in his hand. He's like, this is supposed to be the one and only Lunestone that exists. Yet, you have one on your neck.
Yeah,
That's
I have
supposed to be
so many questions for Baron.
the one and only Lunestone. Yet different. I sound crazy.
What
I
do you
realize
mean
I sound
different?
crazy.
I mean, inside it was, God, it was glorious. Honestly, it was spacious. Certainly, it felt like
What's it like in yours?
it's small, only about 3 paces in either direction, and just the same stone and the same light and the same endless ripples of water, and sometimes, most of the time, the way that those ripples move almost makes it seem like the stone is closing in on you.
Can you use your magic at all while you're in there?
Oh, that is a good question. I don't think I could. Or when I could, it was.
I'm asking because tend to know a thing or two. It's more like a feeling when it comes to magic and the mystic arts. The one that you put your father, dad,
Oh, yeah,
Atticus
sorry,
Brian,
this
by
is
the way,
Atticus.
formerly known as Atticus Phoenix.
Yes,
how you doing?
It is fragmented, but I believe we met once before. You set an inn on fire, and
Well, I didn't technically set it on
tell
fire.
me
It's
that
a
part.
whole thing. We don't have to worry about that anymore. I was young and dumb, and set in my ways.
it
I've grown over the past
only
3
several
weeks.
months ago.
And like you said, time moves different for everybody, friend. When you really think about it, I'm sure I look different. Anyways,
Nyx is actually in the corner. It's hard to tell, but they're blushing a little bit and kind of like suddenly struck with like the oh shit, wait, this is awkward for me.
As this is happening, your door creaks open a little bit, and you see the cat walks in and just hops up on the bed and starts pawing at it, and then like lays down on the bed.
They will take the welcome distraction to sit down and pet them and be very busy with it while they're listening.
I do have some I think I know what's going on kind of, but I do have one burning question before I get to that. I've been traveling with this fucking cat for months and I still don't know its fucking name. What is this cat's name?
Fauna's just like happens to be looking for the cat and walking by right when Atticus says that. She's like comes in. It's just like cat.
Oh, yeah.
Atticus.
I know it's a cat, but what is
No.
the cat's name?
Cat.
I get that it's a cat. I know what a cat looks like, Fauna.
No, that's
think
its name. That's his
is-
name.
Is cat.
I don't think
I
he's getting it,
know
Fauna. I
this
think he's
species
going-
is called a cat.
And
What
Well-
is like my name is Atticus. I am a human.
why don't you give it a nickname, Atticus? You can call him whatever you want, I'm sure.
He can't. No, absolutely not.
Just let him have it. He's not going to understand otherwise.
I'm gonna name my nickname is gonna be Cat, so I don't forget.
Huh.
Fair enough.
So first full circle then. After all that,
See,
At
the
least you don't
cat's
have to respond
meowing.
to anything else.
Cat likes it.
yeah. Tell him I like it. I love it. So good.
Anyway, what do you guys? Oh, what?
Yeah.
This is the one who actually saved your life.
I should probably put a shirt on, and you just see his armor grow like over him.
I think we're going to like, as Atticus, you're putting your shirt on. The cat is sitting there on the bed. Fauna, you are like, I reintroduced.
Introducing
now
myself,
To,
yeah.
yeah. To Nyx's father, Mala Aerosint Loon. We are going to like cut from this, and I think the rest of the day on the ship is sort of uneventful. You hit a point pretty early on where you cannot see land anymore, and you are truly out in the open water. Shortly after that, night begins to fall, and as the sun lowers beneath the western horizon, the first night that you were, you got on the ship at midnight and left, but now you are truly like out in open waters, no longer in sight of land. This is a night that even the crew gets to take a break, and so there are festivities above. They're bringing up. I mean, there's plenty of provisions. You all are like, you can't get a lot of them, but you are able to all get a bit of that queen's fruit that grows on the Queen's Mint. If you don't pick it and eat it, it goes to waste. So there are provisions laid out. There is also actually some of that spirit, the spirit that they distill from the Queen's Fruit or the Queen's Mint, which is oh my god, I have the name of it here. What is it called? Quashal. And it's potent, but it's good. It's incredibly refreshing if you can handle this is not proofed. It is like coming straight out at like cask strength. So it's not for the faint of heart, but this is like being passed around as these like festivities start to pop off out here. That Atticus, that the dwarven artificer that you saw earlier, like steps out onto the deck, and like you can see he's being cheered on by a lot of the crew, and Mariko kind of like grunts and like shakes his head like as if he doesn't really approve, but he knows like if he wants the crew to cooperate, he's going to have to give him this. And you can immediately see why he doesn't approve, because this dwarven artificer, you learn very quickly, is a fire artificer. A lot of their devices have to do with creating flame. and they proceed to, over the course of the next 30 minutes, give all of you one of the most spectacular, like, fire dancing shows that you have ever seen using these devices. At a certain point towards the end, she's like hanging upside down about 20 feet off the deck using the rigging, and like the rope that she is on is like actively on fire. There's like a neat flip, the rope coil comes off, and like this giant fiery like arc sort of like with the rope like snaps around and leaves a trace in the air in front of all of you, and then it's done. What is everyone doing during these festivities?
It was cool, y'all, to see a fire show without a giant fucking monstrous bird chastising me. That was the neatest trick I just saw.
I was literally just gonna say Nyx would impulsively like just kind of glance to see how Atticus was doing, like looking at fire.
He had like a look on his face while watching it, with like one bead of sweat, but like enjoying it. I think Atticus would, like continue the conversation that he was having with Nyx, but like ask everyone to kind of join around. Well, actually, no, he would. Hey, Baron, can you chat with Nyx now for a second?
What?
Again, I need to ask you something.
Okay. I didn't do anything. What do you mean? What's up? What?
I want to know where, and he's going to hold up the
Where did you get the
Lunestone.
stone?
Where
Oh.
did you get this?
No, it's just walking along the beach. It was in the sand, just washed up,
What
normal things. The sandy one?
Where?
Port
Wait,
Omaha?
why? What's wrong with it?
You found
It's just
another
like yours.
Moonstone. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I thought you would want it.
I do want it, and I'm grateful it helped save my father's life, but there's, to my knowledge, only one of these. And they're incredibly powerful and incredibly expensive, and
There's only one of. Wait, how much do you owe me?
No,
Just to clarify, you just said there's
can
only
you please
one of the
answer a
thing
question
that you
straight for
have
once in your life?
two of.
Baron, what I'm saying is that based on the process that it goes into making one of these things,
Okay.
there should be only one in existence in this world. There shouldn't be another one that exists based on the manufacturing costs, the time it takes to make one of these.
The magic.
I know it's crazy that that's coming from me, that I know that. I just got a
Right.
feeling, but
You got a feeling that there can be only one. All right. Yeah.
I
It
mean,
sounds like he's high.
have I ever gotten high in front of you, bud?
Insight check on
genuinely can't
Perrin.
tell.
Nyx is like sensing he's being super evasive and like flipping to like going on the offensive, and yeah.
It's not a feeling, it's an innate sense of the magic that goes into making one of these. That's why I feel it. It's like, like a wizard has to study and,
Right.
and be a fucking nerd and go to school for it.
Dirty
Yeah.
20.
Dirty.
And,
You did not pass what I rolled.
and sorcerers like are badass and just like know it by nature. I'm kind of like a sorcerer is all I'm trying to say. Why are you guys staring at each other so intensely?
I think we're both just surprised to hear that you learned how to do something.
All right.
You
so
just
you
been
found
running
another
around
stone.
hitting things with-
What-
you there.
what-
Oh,
what-
Yeah, he's
boy.
been running around hitting stuff with a sword for 1,500 years, and all of a
Atticus,
sudden he
your
decides he's
face
going
is
to learn new
red
skills.
Right now. Oh.
Fuck is this guy, by the way?
What? It is I, Vlad. You asked me to
Yeah,
come
same
with
question.
you on ship.
I did?
You're awake. Hello.
Ah, yes. It is terribly
little coffin
dangerous for
nap?
me to be out and about on deck.
Mhm.
You know what, with all the sunlight and the Well,
I could have sworn I'd seen you
I
in
have to be
daylight.
honest, I'm not terribly comfortable traveling over all this water as well, but at least we are on the boat, and as long as I don't fall off, then everything should be okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
very
no, sorry.
enlightening.
it's-
Thanks for fucking insulting
Found it
me
when I was
I'm
talking to
asking
my
you
sister.
something.
Oh shit.
Sister,
Yeah.
first hearing of that.
No, same.
Oh,
I
Where-
didn't actually hear what Tyler said because Sean was talking at the same time.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's canon.
Okay. Okay.
Nix is gonna
your
have to ask him to repeat it.
Your sister.
Sister?
Right.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, same.
And your sister had it.
No.
Cute.
It's all a little bit blurry, like
Yeah,
specifics
I guess I have
wise.
a very strange question for you then, Perrin. When you go through a door, when you summon one, is that... So remember way back when I was younger
Yeah.
and had a mustache and shorter hair and we were in that
Like
castle?
2 days ago. Yeah.
It was several months ago, but, who knows? I mean, I'm talking about when we were in the castle.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
That wizard explained like alternative realities or something like that, or
Yeah.
and they could access that. This is a stretch. Did you get this from something like that?
Like a multiversal type situation.
Like a place that's like this, but not exactly like this. I don't know what a multiverse is, but
It would be like, you go next door and everything in that place is exactly like this place, except over there they make sandwiches with a layer of bread in the middle and the ingredients on the outside. So, you get more of the good wet stuff.
What if you go to the next place over? What do they put on the outside?
Well, they don't have sandwiches there. It is a barren wasteland devoid of any life or joy.
So those are the only
Flat
three
meat
options.
Sandwiches?
It's
Oh, geez.
here, reverse sandwich mode, and Fallout 4.
I'll be honest with you, I'm having a hard time thinking of anything else right now, so that's about as far as the limits
Fallout
of my
4 is
imagination.
I really wanted to make sure
Realities.
Vlad was gonna stick his nose in here. I really wanted to find out what Vlad had to say about
Well,
the
not a lot.
multiverse.
I'm just trying to paint a very clear picture that everyone can understand of how things can be similar, but
Yeah.
a little bit different.
like
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm
So-
struggling to remember this wizard guy that you're referring to, but like you're vaguely ringing a bell here. So like,
it feels like years ago, like how they explained it, like
sure.
their bartender lover had like blue hair in one place, but like green hair in the other place.
All right, if you say so. Yeah, no, you're like the fourth Atticus that I've met.
Oh,
Be fifth.
shit.
I lost track a little bit in there.
am I at least your
Not the
favorite
hottest.
Atticus?
Yeah, sure.
What? There's a hotter Atticus.
I don't remember. Did
Do they have like a goatee or like should I shave my beard? Like what do I need to do?
It was
What-
more attitude than it was facial hair, you know.
Oh, he was like way nicer than I am and probably
Yeah.
like
Sure, that.
all right, well back to my original question, like
Yeah. June, what were you
Is
saying
this like-
as the out of character clarification? June?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for understanding what that is. I don't remember, did Perrin tell us about like his little experience with Multiverse Us in like
No.
the tower again?
Yeah.
Dark versions? No?
Vox sort of knows about it, and he mentioned once something about like the other you to one of you guys. I think it might have been Vox. Maybe somebody else heard it.
I think
But we
I
didn't
think it might
have
have
a
been
whole
me.
conversation. Maybe. Yeah, no, he told Fauna that he met Flora, another
Yeah.
Flora.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I don't think he explained it in depth to anybody else.
Cool, duly noted. Nyx's head is like a Wii Fit match, like a tennis match, just between the two of them this whole time of like, say what now? Like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought I like how you Wii Fit was the go-to before you just said tennis.
Not you know that one game on Wii Fit where they're standing on either side of a net?
heads.
We wouldn't have
All
gotten
the
it
heads
without the
go
Wii
the
Fit.
same.
Nyx feels like there's Zendaya at the end of Challengers the right now.
Spoilers! No spoilers!
Oh, sorry.
They play tennis. I'm sorry. That's
They
what
ju-
they
I thought
God,
the movie was
no.
about Wii Fit.
Yeah, I thought you were saying they played Wii Fit. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, it was. They certainly got very fit.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
it's
Atticus comes too because I think he realizes Perrin's trying to like throw him off the scent a little bit of like saying there's a hotter Atticus and be like, so what you're saying is this Lunestone is kind of like a different Atticus. It's from another place. Is that what I'm picking up?
I guess. I don't know. I just see shiny things and I pick them up sometimes. I don't really ask a lot of questions.
Being inquisitive's like a big thing about you, though. What do you mean?
Is it? I thought it was the drinking and the wordplay.
I know elves.
Wait, I
can't
thought it
really
was.
get drunk.
I thought it was.
I know.
being
I
the
know
best
you're just
friend
lying.
that any
bud.
of you have ever had. That was my whole thing. Is that I'm the most reliable friend, and I exercise every day, and I make good baked treats.
2 of those things are true, bud, but 3 of those things would be true if you would just be straight with me.
Oh.
Damn.
Fauna, do you even know what they're talking about right now? I just got here. And I'm so
Yeah, I don't think
confused.
are we in this conversation? I thought we weren't invited.
No,
It's
I
a
think
small
you're,
boat.
Over to it's canonically not a small boat.
All right. Well, look, I'm gonna be honest. Hey, come over here, and Perrin pulls them a little further away from the crew members, everybody in the party. Is Cletus around here?
Cletus?
Yeah, Cletus is there with you.
All right, Cletus, go away.
What? You could, if you could say it to me, you could say
Yeah,
it to Cletus.
I don't know
It
if
seems,
that's true.
It seems kind of weird.
No.
Eh,
No, I think this is how Per and I become best buds. The bestest of buds. So let me have this.
I've been
These
best
are-
buds with 5 different Atticuses. I'll be your
Okay.
best bud too.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I'm gonna be the bestest bud.
I'll be honest. I
Was
kind of
it-
feel uncomfortable above deck anyway, so I'll head on back downstairs. And you see, as he goes to head back down, the cat just trots over and immediately jumps up into his arms. And he heads back down below deck.
All right,
Yeah.
make sure you tell Cletus everything we
cute.
talk about, okay?
No problem.
I don't want to leave him in the dark. All right. So, look, it's all a little bit fuzzy, but I accidentally all right. So, like okay. So, do you guys know what a sea elf is? Let's back it up further. How do you guys eat your
I
sandwiches?
sure do. I see an elf right now in front of me.
Fuck, Flat. God damn it.
That was really good.
Vlad, why do you know so much about sandwiches?
Yeah,
You don't eat
Perrin.
sandwiches?
You're at competition.
Well,
He
no.
was making
rolled
all
a
of
hit.
them for us.
Curti showed me
I
the
rolled
art
a-
of stacking the bread and the ingredients in between another slice of bread, but sometimes I think to myself, is a little bit too much bread, you know? Maybe we take away the top and we have some, I don't know what we call it, maybe
Open face. Adam wants to eat our open faces.
Open
You heard it here.
face. Face.
I rolled a history check at the mention of sea elf.
I have an idea!
Oh no! What did you roll?
I rolled a 23 on history.
Oh fuck!
And I'm like, a sea elf. A sea elf.
Sea elf, let me give you what you would know on a 23. Cool. I'm not even going to do this really in like storytelling format, I'm just going to give you a little lore dump for sea elves. Sea elves they originate in the Nightlands along with night elves. For a long time, these were the only two elf races or elven races native to the Nightlands, both having come over, or supposedly come over to the Nightlands from the Feywilds through an opening to the wild path that used to be somewhere in the Nightlands. The sea elves actually departed from the Nightlands a little before the 100-Year War that kind of signaled the end of the Age of the Courts and the beginning of the Dread Age. Specifically about sea elves, it's said that like a lot of different elves who, like, with their power and like living in their position of power causes their lifespans to be increased, sea elves have lifespans that increase the more they remain within the ocean realms, so beneath the ocean. Sea elves really aren't found that much, like they're almost never found within Oreth. Sea elves are pretty rare, in fact, anywhere. Many of, let's see, any of the sea elves belong to the Quarter Tides. Yeah. Oh, another thing that you would know on the 23, according to legend, there are sea elves who can live upwards of nearly 1,000 years as long as they only leave the realms below once every 200 years or so. So basically, like, they come on land 5 times in their life. Supposedly, some scholars of elven history on Orsad say that if a sea elf is born beneath the ocean and never leaves, they could retain their fey immortality as long as they never set foot on dry land. And that's what you would know about sea elves.
Yep. Yeah, they're, you don't see them much though. I think they're you don't see a sea elf that much. That's what they say about them.
Nailed it.
Oh shit, it just gets better and better.
But they're from the Nightlands, departed, live underwater, some roam on land, but
Yeah,
pretty
like
rare.
this one.
Oh shit. I thought you were a wood elf. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Was that
me too.
insensitive?
I mean, yes, it was, and I'm offended. Oh, I don't fucking know. No, I found this out kind of recently. They're all dead here, and then I've met a bunch of them. Still trying to work that out.
And
Yeah.
that's how you met your sister?
I guess.
You have a sister?
Yeah. I do. It's yeah. I don't know if I have a sister, but there's a Perrin that has a sister. I
Just
don't know.
like
It's a
there's
lot to like emotionally deal with. I'm not really sure what I would call it.
So there's a parent
Fauna's
that
just
has
gonna
a
hold
sister.
Perrin's hand. Like, take his hand and hold it.
Perrin receives that.
You see math appear, calculating around Atticus's head again.
Oh my
So
god,
you
he's gotten so
see-
good at magic.
So you see, there's a Perrin that has a sister,
Right.
just like there's an Atticus that's more hot than I am.
Yeah, so look, a while
There's
back.
another Nyx with one of these.
Yeah. So a while back, I don't remember. Maybe that was when Fauna took off. I went through some things. I don't know. Maybe I just wandered away. It's hard to, I do that a lot. And I met an Atticus and a Nyx and Fauna's sister, and another Vox. And Vox, that's, your shiny knife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Which one?
yeah, show that to Atticus. What does that look like? Does that look like the Loonstone to you?
I don't know. Does it? No, I don't
No,
know.
it
might-
looks like a knife.
I don't know. It has some lunestone qualities, but I'm pretty sure that's not a lunestone.
Well, yeah, okay.
Is it
Point
made
is, I
out of
took it
pine
from
grass?
somewhere else.
Yeah. Was that when you like walked into that tree in that village and disappeared?
Yeah. No? Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe. Yes.
So you saw
Alright.
other us's there.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So there's alternative versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Some
I don't know
have
if you-
sisters.
And
Some
back
are
when we were in the
hotter than
tower-
us.
Right. Most of them are hotter than you, but some of them aren't. So when we were in that tower, they said there were multiple versions of us going through the tower and like different combinations, and some were more or less successful. Also, remember that short guy that used to be with us? There were multiples of him too.
Lori?
I thought it was George. Georgie? I
That
don't
was
know,
a
whatever.
different short guy. There were 2 short guys.
You sure?
I mean, Baron, you have to be more specific. Everyone's short to me, but except like
Oh.
hill giants.
Right.
Okay,
That's why I
okay,
didn't want
okay.
Cletus here.
Yeah. All right. I got to send her back in. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So there were different us's, and they were all that group. They were all hotter, but like way meaner.
Yeah. There's like a.
But
hot
I
to mean
wasn't
ratio.
there.
Was I
Yeah.
there?
No, you were dead? Question mark. I don't know. You might have been the Wallachria. It's hard to mourn when there's other yous that aren't you, and I don't know if those yous matter to me's like they would matter to you me's in that you me place. You know, I don't know.
Are you saying like? I don't know. This is a lot to take in.
Hey, Kurt.
The reason
when is the
I need to-
best time to see an elf? When they have washed up on shore because it's low tide.
Look, Vladimir,
Oh,
sometimes I
shit.
feel like you're just waiting
Is that
around to say
offensive?
something funny.
I feel like maybe that's
Yeah.
offensive.
They're all dead.
I feel like that was definitely more offensive. All right.
Just
Okay.
waiting around to say a joke at everyone else's expense. It's like you don't even care about the serious conversation that we're having.
But if you're not dead, so maybe they're not all dead. Maybe there are others in the night, because that's where
maybe.
they come from, right? So maybe we can
Right.
find
But
more
like
of your
the
people,
us
and then
here, yeah, that group is maybe different. Okay, so remember that guy that was in the other guy, and then when we saved Bert so that he could die, the other guy came out of the other guy, and then he's like, "I'm gonna go eat the whole ocean."
oh yeah, I actually just hung out with him like a few weeks ago, and he still sucks, by the way.
What?
I can confirm.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
vibes
that's-
Have
were
we
jank
all
as
seen
fuck.
him
August.
lately?
That's where August came from, because he was trapped by the annoying, that guy, and I got him out of there. But then he was a skeleton. It was a whole thing. But basically,
We all need to hang out more. All right, like there's a lot of information that is missed because we're all doing our own thing. I think we definitely need to have more chats and just
Well,
grow.
lucky
Yeah.
for us, we are stuck here for 5 weeks.
I would love to talk more, but I've got like a bunch of chores I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
no, you don't.
There's a
You're not
whole
part of the
lot.
crew, Perrin. It's not your job.
You don't know that.
I think I do. Are they paying
all right.
you?
So we paid them.
Right.
Y'all,
Yeah,
Exactly.
I paid
I,
them at
Okay,
a
so
discount.
recap.
y'all,
You went somewhere else, met other versions
Okay.
of us, other versions of yourself, also met your sister, picked this up while you were there, and now you're back here.
Yeah, but like, there wasn't an. It was all fine. It wasn't
Just
like
when you abandoned us all after Atticus died
no.
without, saying
maybe.
anything or caring that
So
you
you'll-
left
you-
us behind.
you
and
just
went
you
through
just
that
step
door.
out on your friends, bud, to go hang out with hotter versions of us. Is that what
Why
I'm
am I-
hearing?
What is this heat I'm getting? Didn't Nix just say I saved their dad's life?
Their dad saved?
Okay, thank
Oh
you
yeah,
for bringing me back. So,
Wait, does
What?
Vox want to
Reason.
stab their dad? Should I have not said that?
Don't mess
Please
with their
listen
dad.
to me, everybody. Please,
Are you having a stroke?
for the love of, yes, I'm old. I'm an old man now, but not. I feel good. I feel actually younger than I did. I felt like I don't have a giant bird weighing on my back anymore. Anyways, thank you for asking, though, Vox. That means a lot that you check in on me like that. So, Loonstone for Prime. I'm gonna call it Loonstone Prime, the one that Arnix has, and then Loonstone B from the
That's
one that
cool
Perrin
sounding.
found in. Yeah,
Why
Prime
are you
sounds
using
better.
two different systems of counting?
I know magic, not math. All right.
All right.
He's
So-
working very hard for this. Just let him keep going.
Sorry, continue.
Thank you. My brain hurts from me trying to articulate what is going on.
Nick
So-
sort of steps back a little bit behind so Atticus can't see and is like fawning like as if he's got steam coming out of his ears.
I think this is the most flustered you've ever seen Atticus. Like, he's red in the face, like trying to just explain it to you, but put it together in his own brain at the same
This
time.
is the first time we've ever seen Atticus exert himself.
Me doing backflips and killing monsters was nothing but like the mental gymnastics I'm going through right now, because I've just realized there's multiple versions and all that. So Nyx's Loonstone is supposed to be the only one that exists
Right.
in this realm. You found one in a alternative realm.
Yeah.
Now, the one you found in the alternative realm is how it's actually supposed to be, from my understanding.
Seems judgmental,
It's-
but okay.
Internally. The one Nyx has, sensed, has been turned malignant. It's not serving its original purpose. Whatever the fuck stone it is.
You can just
It's
point at
supposed
him.
to be-
It's all right.
Yeah.
As he's talking, Nick is kind of like trying to keep
Nick,
up
sweetie,
and
could you-
hold
can
up
you-
which one
can you-
I'm
thank you,
referring
thank you.
to.
All right. You got this, Atticus. You sound really cool right now. So, the one Nyx has been swapped. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's treated as a prison, while the one that you found is more like a safe haven, if you will. Large.
Sure.
It's like its own domain. It's like a world within a world. The one Nyx has was changed. It's suffocating. It's a prison. No magic can be used. It's a trap. And it siphons power from whoever's in it.
Okay.
Nick,
What
is
I'm
that
saying
true?
in-
What?
And what I'm getting at is, Nyx, like, you're powerful. Like, you are a strong, gracious warrior. But if I'm right, you're far more powerful than we've seen. And someone took your prison to siphon energy off of you and has stolen who knows how much power. You were trapped for how long in that?
Going on close to 20 centuries?
But if
So
is it siphoning their power right now? Because we should probably get rid of it.
no, I think it's if you're in it. That's what the sense I got. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't.
Shouldn't we just drop it in the bottom of the ocean then? I mean, we already know
Not the ocean.
isn't totally safe.
No.
Hey,
Not there.
everyone, come check it out. I see something over the side.
That seems
gosh.
horrifying.
Gonna be not
I
bad
did
at all.
hear something
I
earlier.
swear.
Oh, it's
Baron's gonna
beautiful.
Is
lean
it-
over and look.
What is it?
Cool. you all go over to look.
Fun is
Everyone-
kind of standing
we said
not
one.
right.
We didn't
I'm
go.
looking.
Yeah, I don't, Fun is kind of right at the side. She's kind of like trying to see, but like not getting too close to the edge of the boat.
Anyone who does go over to look, give me a
Aaron's Jack
perception check.
Sparrowing. He's leaning over the edge of the boat, holding onto a loose rope. He's like fully horizontal.
Yeah, anyone who does go over to look, give me a perception check.
Rox does trust the boat now, and is she still under the calming spell? Because if she is, she would totally go look.
22.
Ooh, calm emotions. It's,
Also 22.
it works to calm it, but once the
6.
work is done, it's like done.
Atticus is too
Okay,
flat.
but I did see that whole boat. Yeah, okay. So
I'm gonna
I will
roll-
go.
At disadvantage because I'm standing further back. Is that okay? But still, like I'm still trying to see, but I'm like further back from the edge.
Sure.
Can I roll an investigation, or does it need to be?
It would just be perception. It's what you can see.
Okay.
Before we
Okay,
reveal
well-
that, could I get clarification when I did my Arcana check? Do I think it's actively siphoning energy from?
Only you are correct. Only when Nyx is in it.
Okay.
Okay. Did I see a 6 for Atticus on perception? 6.
I'm too flustered.
What's everyone else?
22.
22.
16.
16.
My lower roll was 14.
Okay. And then for
22
Nyx,
for Nyx also.
22 for Nyx. Okay, 2 22s. Okay, and then the 16. All of you. I mean, I'm gonna treat this kind of like a group perception check for the initial part. Helps balance out the 6 a little bit. Even those of you standing further back, you see something down in the water. At first, it's distant, like it's dark now, and so the waves beneath you really only see them where like they foam up against the sides of the ship or in waves. There are these bright little lights beneath the water, but they're getting closer to the surface. A silvery glow that's almost like a reflection of the constellations above. And you start to see these patterns of lights rise all over the side of the ship. Closer and closer to the surface. Captain Mariko steps over to all of you too. Right at this point, there's a lot of the crew kind of gathered on the side of the ship. Mariko looks down.
It's a good omen if I've ever seen one for a voyage like this. Usually, you'll be traveling for a couple more weeks before you ever get any moonbirds.
You see now, as the lights finally breach the surface, a pod of creatures, probably about 24 strong, from fin tip to fin tip, each of them anywhere from 6 to 12 feet across, some of them massive. Rising to the surface, long tails that stream behind them in the water, their skin smooth, almost like rubber, dotted with glowing phosphorescent that you can see slowly beneath the light of the night sky shining down, the starlight. Slowly these points of, like these phosphorescent points on their back, begin to change. And for each of them mirror different constellations above. As these little points of light change, you know, they're here at the surface. Some, like, they're descending. They can't breathe the air, but they are like coming to and kind of following the side of the ship now. And as these lights begin to fade in and out, and back in again to mirror the constellations. There's kind of just a hush that falls over the ship. I will tell on the 16. On the 16, Vox, you notice something aside from the ship. You see, like, looking down the starboard side, you see, oh my god, I'm already going to forget her name. You see Ismith, that Palomio. Handfuls of, like, this shimmering white salt, just taking them and casting them off into the water. Off the back of the ship.
I think that Vox would ask.
Yeah, you're a little far. I mean, you can walk over to Ismith if you want to. You're a little far away, but if you just, like, say it out loud, I mean, the captain's right there too.
Yeah, I think Vox would just be like, what is she throwing in there?
An offering to one of the old gods of honor. It's, well, we don't always observe the old ways on this ship, but I didn't want to speak of it before. Bad luck to talk of it and all before you set out, but recently ships have been going missing. Strange happenings with the trade routes between here and the Nightlands. Report on the wide seas. For good measure. She is the ship's diviner after all. I have to say though, seeing a pot of moonbirds this far out. I'll take all the good omens I can get.
On the 22s, that was just Nyx and Perrin, right? Perrin, I think, like, you're sitting in this moment of, like, reflection, like opening up and telling the party for the first time some of the stuff that you experienced, mentioning a sister, telling them that you're a sea elf, like, truly. Now they know you're at home out here for more than just one reason. Nyx, you're headed to the Nightlands. You've just, like, there's a lot going on for both of you in this moment. And this pod continues to follow the ship for some time. I think one by one, different crew members go back. For the two of you getting a 22, the way that I'm going to flavor it, if you're all right with this, is that the two of you remain at the side of the ship and are the last to go below deck. Because you are watching this omen, these creatures come to perhaps just following their habits, following migration patterns. Or is it something else? Are they here to bid you a good voyage? And I need everyone else to go ahead and take your headphones off.
While they're doing that,
Sean.
mention of Olvana,
Have your
I
headphones.
think Nyx is just gonna kind of quietly, like, mutter an old prayer.
Other way, take them off.
It's a headphones moment for everyone that got a 22. What's that? I missed that for Nyx.
I was just gonna buy in time while they did that. I think at the mention of Olvana, like, Nyx would kind of quietly mutter a prayer to themselves, like an old one.
I think Perrin is going to glance at Nyx saying that and look over at the crew going down below decks and look and make direct eye contact with Nyx and say, the thing about all those other places. They're going. They're not there. They're disappearing.
Perrin, as you say this, both of you looking over the side of the boat on the 22 perception check. The lights on the backs of these creatures, mirroring the constellations above, one by one, begin to go out, swallowed into an inky blackness that spreads over the pod until you can no longer see the creatures, and immediately surrounding the boat, you can't even see the light of the waves. Looking over the edge next to you, Ismith looks down also. Oh. Not a good omen, after all. And that is where we are going to end the session. We will be back next week with another session of Castle Run here in Arc 3. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We will see you next Monday. Everyone that still have headphones, maybe we'll get what we're doing. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.